In October 1914, a couple of months after the outbreak of the First World War, a small German fleet was heading to the coast of South America. The squadron was commanded by Admiral Graf von Spee. Von Spee had a total of 5 ships under his command. The 2 armored cruisers, Scharnhorst and Gneisenau, were sister ships and had both 8 21-centimeter guns. The other ships were the light cruisers Leipzig, Dresden and Nuremberg. All of them had 10 10.5-centimeter guns. The British reacted by sending a squadron under command of Admiral Craddock. Admiral Craddock had also 2 armored cruisers. HMS Good Hope had 2 23.4-centimeter guns and 16 15-centimeter guns. HMS Monmouth had a total of 14 15-centimeter guns. The light cruiser Glasgow had 2 15-centimeter guns. Admiral Craddock had also the old battleship Canopus under his command. Canopus had 4 30.5-centimeter guns and was the only ship that really outgunned the German ships. But the battleship made only 12 knots and was much slower than the rest of the British ships. Craddock did not believe that he would be able to hunt or even outmaneuver the German ships if he had Canopus in his fleet. So when he left the Falklands, he ordered Canopus to stay behind and follow him in the distance. As a consequence, now his ships were outgunned by the German ships. After he had arrived in the Pacific, he sent the light cruiser Glasgow to the port of Coronel. In Coronel, Glasgow intercepted radio signals from the German cruiser Leipzig. Craddock decided to hunt the German cruiser. He was joined by the armed merchant cruiser Otranto. Otranto was a former ocean liner that had been equipped with 8 12-centimeter guns. However, Glasgow's trip to Coronel had not gone unnoticed. A German merchant had informed von Spee about a single British ship in the port of Coronel. So von Spee also decided to head to Coronel. On November the 1st, the 2 squadrons met. Both admirals decided to form a line of battle and engage the enemy. When the battle started, von Spee had only 4 of his ships, because Nuremberg was too far away and would only later join the battle. Craddock initiated the first attack. He had the sun in his back, which meant that the German gunners were blinded by the sun and could not properly aim at the British ships. For that reason, von Spee decided to evade the fight and turned east. 1 hour later, the tide had turned. Now the British ships were clearly visible against the sunset, whereas the German ships were hidden in the dark. Now von Spee ordered the attack. The German cruisers clearly outgunned the British cruisers. Scharnhorst and Gneisenau had a total of 16 21cm guns, while Craddock's ships only had 2 23cm guns. He had also problems with his 15cm guns. Most of these guns were positioned on the side of the ship. Because of the heavy seas, many of these guns could not be used during the battle. Soon the Germans got their first hits. One of Scharnhorst's first salvos put one of Good Hope's 23cm guns out of action. A couple of minutes later, the surrounding ships saw a massive explosion. The British flagship went down with all of her crew. HMS Monmouth had also been badly damaged and turned west. Glasgow came under fire from Scharnhorst and Gneisenau. The British ships stopped firing and managed to disappear in the dark. HMS Monmouth was unmaneuverable and could not use his guns. Otranto had already left the battlefield. Glasgow decided to leave Monmouth behind and turned south to warn Canopus. Later that evening, the light cruiser Nürnberg arrived at the battlefield and discovered the helpless Monmouth. The British cruiser was unwilling to surrender and tried to ram the German ship. Nürnberg opened fire, and the British lost their second ship. Glasgow, Otranto, and Canopus managed to escape, and later joined the fleet that would destroy von Spee's fleet in the Battle of the Falklands.